Speaking of 100%
How can you
agree.
not say it is? Like,
Yeah, like if I don't say it is, I mean small brain plays, tiny brain. All right, but you know who doesn't have a tiny brain? Spawning in the bottom left-hand position of Pillars of Gold, representing a freak of freaks. It is the one and only Dongray Goo. Likes to go by DRG nowadays, and at least it's always been like that. It's kind of like the acronym, right?
yep. And in the opposite corner, I'm playing for our lovely, lovely team. Of course, talking about Alpha X is the Blueser player. It is RAGNAROK.
There's just something so sexy about that logo spinning next to the hatchery, ain't there, Akon?
Oh my. It's just,
beautiful.
it makes you feel right at home.
I feel like the tail of the Alpha X Dragon is kind of like Cupid's arrow, and it just stuck me right through the veins with an immense love for dragons and StarCraft, but mainly dragons. It's kind of weird. Anyways, we do see... Yeah, I know. But, you know, this is a life we live in. It's the life I choose. RAGNAROK is making many lings on this side of the map. Not a huge amount of lings, and not something too committed. We see the hatchery go down behind it, but no
That's
speed
a
means...
12 pull expand.
Yeah.
To be, like, super technical.
And I definitely can appreciate this. What is he trying to get out of this, Akon? Is he trying to get a snipe on the natural, or is he going to try and go more for a killing blow here?
No, he's definitely not trying to go for a killing blow. This is as far as it sounds weird, this is a macro build. This is a build that lets you skip link speed for a little bit of time to just try to slow down your opponent. DRG is gonna need probably to pull a little bit of drones to save this base. Saving this base is absolutely pivotal right now. And RAGNAROK is gonna double it down with a little bit of Roach, Queen production, most dense Zerglings. You can absolutely skip Zergling speed entirely if he decides to. And getting this archery is very important if he manages to do so. But I doubt he will. Even this little bit of a dance with the drones, getting a little bit of drone kills, it's still going to be quite worth it in the end. RAGNAROK is fighting with drones here. He's getting 4 of them, which is kind of good. And back home, what is he doing? He's just making drones. He's getting his natural himself. He got his natural himself, actually, because with a 12 pull expand, you get the actually quite a normal timing. He just lacks gas. He will lack gas for a little while. So he's just doubling down on the drone production. And he needs to be careful not to die to penguins. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Gas is for nerds, says RAGNAROK. And wasn't there... Who was that one Zerg player who climbed all the way to GM on NA without taking gas?
I want to forget this thing you just said so much. So I will not address it.
Gotcha.
Entirely.
Bringing up some painful memories undoubtedly for Akon. But, you know, that's the whole fun of dual casting. You get to torment your co-caster at all possible opportunities.
Yeah.
RAGNAROK, I think you're very correct. It definitely paid off at least a little bit there. The drone count went even, but again, DRG kind of had the, you know, more drones for longer, but he also pulled them for the defense, so it kind of looks to me as like it's kind of a wash, and you can see both players are kind of in the same boat right now. They're a little bit scared to take their thirds, which, you know, is 100% understandable, but it's going to be RAGNAROK who's going to take the first steps toward advancing toward any sort of macro play besides just drone. It's going to throw down an Evo Chamber and a Roach Chamber, and he's going to go ahead and kill his Creep Tumor because it was, blocking the space for another Evo. So, probably just going to go, if I had to guess, just, you know, use this to kind of like catapult his third base. Maybe just wants to stay safe versus a potential Link Flood, or like you said, the Banelings against DRG, while getting up his own Roach attack. But I very much doubt that he's going to go for anything too crazy.
Yeah, same. I would love him to go for a quick lair and a Spire. I feel like that is the perfect follow-up to this kind of build. But I do respect Roaches. A quick +1 timing is also gonna work wonders. You see DRG taking everything a little bit later compared to his opponent. He's now gonna make a lair. And the one thing about ZVZ is that if one player is making Roaches and the other player is making Mutas, like 90% of the time the player with Roaches wins because he can just ignore the Mutas and kill you. So DRG needs to have something to defend. He's now sending a couple links through the map to try and get a little bit of damage, but RAGNAROK has no intention of expanding right now. He's getting a lair, but he's not even getting... Wait, oh, I see what it is.
Yeah, that big blue botch in the middle there. It's not a bruise, it's Ragnarok. And he has been pooling his links for quite a while. And actually, DRG is going to spy with an Overlord. A massive scout here knows there is some major pain coming his way. And Ragnarok says, alright, time to move out. And he's down 10 workers. And I'm not sure if DRG is going to try and defend this Logan hatchery. Almost certainly not. And just needs to buy time. He's going to get the roach count nice and up. But is he gonna get broken? Here's the thing. I'm not sure. He has a lot of roaches, but
he's just gonna lose his archery probably. I don't really feel like Ragnarok can break through the natural of the DRG anytime soon. Losing his archery hurts a lot though.
Yeah, I mean, he gets to enjoy a little bit of a higher of a drone count. The roach count absolutely favors him, 13-0 at the moment. He's gonna enjoy maybe a small bit of timing where he has a roach lead, but I feel like it's early enough in the game to where the lings can really mess around with the roaches a lot, you know? Like if you have 13 roaches versus like 4 roaches, or like 6 roaches, but you know, the lings are surrounding them, they're taking shots from the roaches, you know, it still is definitely a problem. So DRG is gonna have to be at least a little bit mindful of that. He just kind of wants to establish third base, it seems. And Ragnarok is gonna have to take at least a little bit of a breather here, get his upgrades going. We can see +1, +2 is on the way, or the +2, +1 is on the way.
You have to love Ragnarok's game plan. This is so blindsidey. Like, this is so sketchy in a way. Like, Ragnarok really playing his hand carefully, hiding his stuff a lot. Now he's gonna get +2 ranged attack so earlier than his opponent.
Right.
And that is gonna be pretty big factor, as well as a roach speed being done just when he needs it. Like, these few roaches here in the middle of the map are not gonna do anything for DRG. He's now retaking his fur base. He's gonna be a little bit later compared to the one of Ragnarok. Ragnarok has full control of his own side of the map. His upgrades are going to be quicker. I would have loved DRG to just straight up go for a Nidus after seeing that many Zerglings. Just because he wasn't in a breakable 2-base position and then just get damaged due to earlier roaches. But he's had to stay on the back foot now. He's gonna be ahead in workers, but the army of Ragnarok is just outgrowing him right now.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's what? It's 26-23 roaches, which is kind of even, but look at this. +1 carapace is already done, and +2 missile attacks is going to be done soon. I feel like Ragnarok is just going to hold the button down on the R key. He doesn't want any more drones, I think. I think he just wants to move across the map as soon as possible, as soon as that +2 missile attacks finishes. Such a crucial upgrade in Roach versus Roach, and DRG is going to have a heck of a time trying to defend this base.
These bunch of lings stranded here in the bottom right hand side of the map is also going to be a little bit of a problem for DRG. Now these roaches are trying to fight down these lings, but it's just a little bit too many of them. That felt like a mistake to me. DRG needs to send the full might of his army. That's a bunch of Ravagers. But there is another thing with ZVZ, that the guy who makes more Ravagers usually loses. I hate this so much because Ravagers are such a cool and important unit. He comes us around with the Zerglings. That's so much Ragnarok all over the place. Ravagers are falling down one after the other, and these last look bad for DRG.
Yeah, the Ling wraparound, which is so crucial there because the fight has been so close. Drones are forced off the line, but I feel like the army supply is just too different. Of course, the reinforcement point is closer for DRG, but reinforcements already joining the fight, and GG is called, and Ragnarok takes a very exciting game number 1 victory.
That game plan was a thing of beauty. From start to finish, I felt like Ragnarok was in full control of that game. That felt amazing. Like, seeing a player have this clear of a plan going to the first game of the series is just something that I respect absolutely with all of myself. And DRG, shaky start to the series.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of rough going there. I never really felt like he got super behind at any point. But, you know, it was just all these little plays that, shoot, I'm totally blanking on the name. Who's DRG playing against? Ragnarok. Okay, there we go. I feel like Ragnarok just had plan after plan after plan, you know? It was like it was like a knuckle sandwich, and at each layer there's like a different knuckle that he planned out for DRG's face, and he just kept on chewing away, kept on, you know, following it up. He was like, oh, 12 pull, and then I'm gonna get, you know, links to cancel, and then I'm gonna get faster upgrades, and then I'm gonna hit you with the roach timing, you know. And I think especially one of the biggest factors in that last fight was actually the links. Being able to preserve that from the early push and just tucking him away in the corner means, you know, it doesn't really mean much actually, but what it does mean is that when the roaches came there, he was able to trade out like, you know, a couple of lings for what, like 10, 12 roaches? Which is huge in the roach gun, especially if you're trying to go Ravager heavy, and especially with how close that fight ended. I feel like that was pretty much the pivotal point there, where RAGNAROK could really take the game away from DRG.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I don't know what to do. Spawning in the right hand position of Death Aura. It's DRG. There. It's done.
All right. It went fine.
Okay.
It was absolutely fantastic. So let's go to the top left-hand corner here on Death 4 instead, where Alpha X, very own player, is spawning, leading the series 1-0. It is RAGNAROK.
Just a flawless game there, and the execution on the last attack was really tight as well. But it looks like both players are not going to be doing anything too crazy here. It looks like both players just going for a hatch, probably into a gas, and then probably into a pool. So let's talk about Death Aura a little bit. What strikes you about ZVZ and Death Aura, Akon?
Big maps in ZVZ have always been very, very weird because not many Zerg players like to play big maps in this matchup. They feel like there's too much ground to control, too many places which can go unseen if you decide to like something there. So most players technically try to go for something a little bit more aggressive on this map. This is an exception for probably two players in the world, these players being Serral and Reynor. I feel like those are the only two players who feel comfortable going to Viper, Lurker style on big maps. And they've done it so many times in the past. But even then are adapting to this, especially with the accelerated zones being on this map. It kind of allows you to play a little bit of a more of aggressive way and just don't play the map.
Right, you can just kind of zoom across very fast, and you know, just looking at Death Aura and its geography, there's a lot of choke points here. Rather, like coming to the third base, it's very narrow. Coming to the fourth base, there's ramps everywhere. So if you really wanted to macro up and get there, lurkers are, you know, very viable option here. You can stay very defensive. Like a couple of bows covers this whole choke right there, you know, about the third base. So I'm curious to see. I think at least one of these players may try and go for something like that. Another possibility is Spire on Death Aura. You kind of get to like circumvent the whole weird choke points, you know, entirely. And you can actually take a pretty good fight if they move out with Hydras across the map. All these choke points and like how close the map is means that you're going to have plenty of time to get some good baning connections on those bad boys.
RAGNAROK still looks like he's going to go for a wall of early and just trying to skip that third. It is interestingly close to what you were talking about. He's going to go for an Evo Chamber, Roach Warren, Wolof. I'm not too sure if he wants to hide something more as he wants to skip the Painly Nest and just be safe around it. But not getting a third is a kind of a scary maneuver in this matchup. He's gonna go for a bunch of Zerglings right now. RAGNAROK has something maybe more aggressive than I thought in mind. Lane speed is going to be done in just a while. There is a drone waiting here, probably to make a Baneling Nest? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't range it attack. Okay. I know what is happening. I know what is happening.
Yeah? Enlighten me, Akon. What the heck is going on?
He's just gonna try to hide as many Zerglings as possible, try to get a kill on the third base of DRG, but it's not really going his side. Losing this queen is almost as important as losing a base. He will need to cancel his own third archery. And DRG has a lair going on, man.
Yeah,
This
I mean,
looks rough.
it does look rough, but Ragnarok actually is going to dive on top of this Morphing Binding here. A very lucky catch, and there's no wall off. I mean, the entire army for DRG is across the map, and Ragnarok is doing some insane damage here. Even without a Binding Knives, he's doing a lot of work here. He's going to pick off Queen, maybe 2 there, and 9 drones already going down. Now 10. Can we see 11 or 12? I'm not sure, but the early Binding Knives from DRG not really getting him too much there. He missed a scout on that, so nothing was ready. And Ragnarok enjoying a lot of damage so far.
And that is the true nature of ZVZ. Just look at Zerglings dancing left and right. Both players trying to race for tech, trying to afford the tech they actually got. And right now, Ragnarok, I was a little bit scared for his position earlier on. Losing a couple queens wasn't really looking like the best. And I still have to say, DRG is in no losing position yet. With this Spire going up, he's going to head out into a pretty comfortable stage. He needs more gas though.
Yeah.
He needs way more gas. And he doesn't really have enough workers. So, this is going to be interesting. Okay, a Spine Crawler? This is going to be very interesting.
What was actually said about roaches against Mutalisk there, Akon? Something about the person building Mutalisk dying very quickly. While I do appreciate the Mutalisk, you know, I think I always like to see Mutalisk and ZVZ, you know, it just kind of changes things a lot. And speaking of that, the Ling's actually going to go ahead and get into this wall off and get a full scout on what's happening here. Loses a couple queens as well. Actually a lot of damage here. Wow. No index here for Ragnarok, unfortunately. But he does end up seeing the roaches, so knows that he definitely has to do something about that, especially since he's going Spire. It's going to be a Nidus network coming up from Ragnarok. Did he see the
and
Spire?
He's going to be scouted. He didn't see the Spire, but like right now, DRG is just in such a good position with just 2 queens being out. It's not really looking like this Nidus network can stay up a lot. So yeah, look at this. Ragnarok needs to place these Nidus in a completely, utterly weak position. There's still a bunch of Lings over here. They're gonna get a lot of damage on top of the Nidus. Actually, probably kill it. And this doesn't look good. Okay, there is a lot of Lings here at the third archery, but even that is going to be blocked. DRG might be behind in army by a lot. Might not have roaches. Might be the player with the Mutas against roaches. But Ragnarok was not injected for so long that I feel like this is not a winning position for Ragnarok at all. DRG, yeah. Look at this.
That's it. I mean, as soon as you're, you know, the first Nidus network going down is bad enough, right? But just the subsequent second and third ones. The second one popped at 4 roaches, lost those right away. His army supply was very behind, you know. And he didn't really have a proper response to those Mutas, especially with all the queens dying, right? I mean, how can you really shoot up if you don't have anything that shoots up? So, I feel like he just thought it was a little bit too much. And yeah, it was kind of a heartbreaker there. I really was thinking that, that he was gonna actually break him with the roaches, there for a second, but I feel like he just ignored the Nidus network and just walked across the map. Maybe he had a better shot there when he was still on Ling Tech, but it's sketchy.
I feel like it was more just an unlucky mistake. The queen was not blocking his wall off. He needed one more queen, and then the Zerglings got in, scouted the Nidus, killed the 3 queens. That is something that is not supposed to happen. If that doesn't happen, that Nidus play will definitely work.
Yeah.
So yeah, unlucky.
Very rough stuff there coming out, but hopefully this game will be different, because spawning in the bottom left-hand position of Oxide, he is a red Zerg player representing a freak of freaks. It is DRG.
And here in the top right-hand corner on Oxide is the blue Zerg player instead, representing Alpha X. This is Ragnarok.
Oh yeah.
And he's up to no good, mates.
What a disgusting dirty. I mean, Zerg's already kind of disgusting and dirty in my mind, but this even more so.
Hey.
Early pool, early.
We do have feelings, you know?
Look at this! Look at the extractor. Zoom in on that. What do you see? Ugh.
I see something beautiful.
It's pulsating. What pulsating thing is ever called beautiful in the history of anything, Akon?
Zergs.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's talk a
problem.
little
You're
bit
welcome.
about there's things swimming in the structures too. I don't like it. But let's talk about the pool and gas here really quick from Ragnarok. What does this mean, Akon? It means lure
Just
circling.
a lot of links and circling speed.
There we go. You think there might be any possibility for a baneling nest?
No, I actually
Gotcha.
don't think there's going to be an early Baneling nest. I am sorry to break your heart like this, but I do feel like going for a Baneling nest this early puts you in a position that you need to win the game or just straight up lose. And no, it's not a position that Ragnarok likes a lot to be in, especially since going for that earlier link speed means that you're going to have an advantage on link-to-link fight. So delaying link-to-link fight just to have a couple Banelings just doesn't really work.
Right. Alright, well, I guess I'll just stick to Protoss then.
Oh, yeah, there is a Baneling nest.
Oh, duh! Oh! Alright, victory lap. See you later. No, but this is
Right.
a little bit weird. I think this is a lot more committed now, right? Now that we have a baneling nest.
This is
Okay.
almost in the lane right now. He needs to get a lot of damage now.
Right. I
He's
mean,
gonna have a lot of stuff for defense, but if he wants to actually make Banelings, he's going to be in a very awkward position. The thing about this is that until you have the first few Banelings done, you don't want to fight with your Zerglings, even if you have a faster lane speed, which is a little bit counterintuitive. So he wants to wait for Banelings,
exactly.
just
like-
because he has disadvantage.
Yeah, like why take a worse trade than you need to take? I think is the idea here,
Yeah.
right? But I kind of
Yeah,
like
exactly.
DRG's position here. You know, he has all the pieces. He scouted like the, you know, all the links coming, so he knows there's some aggression. He's actually gonna give up the natural, but he has his own Bane Nest finishing on up as well, and 4 more on in. All the pieces are there. Just can he get it in time? Ragnarok may not give him the opportunity though. The links come on into the natural, and they're immediately gonna start nibbling away at these queens. The Banelings looking for juicy drones, but not really finding anything. And DRG, his Banes are done as well, and Ragnarok cannot like that, Akon.
Oh, that is an awful trade for DRG, losing 3 Banelings for 2. Not
Yeah.
gonna be great, especially with these many Zerglings being out for Ragnarok against the ones of DRG. There is a lair coming from Ragnarok.
And drones coming from DRG. He's so comfortable moving on here, but I guess, you know, as soon as you have a couple of
I
Banes.
feel like he should be comfortable, but Ragnarok is just this Mega Mind CVZ player. So
Oh yeah, he can switch like things like that. You know, he's like, oh, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Let me do this right away. You know, denying the
But-
scout is very important there. This early layer is up to no good. Are we gonna see a Night Swarm? Do
Yeah.
you think?
it is quite possible, yes. Nighteswarm,
There
yeah,
we
here
are.
it comes. It is probably the best call, especially since there is only collecting 4 drones for income out of gas with 4 drones. Okay, I got it. Everyone.
Right there we go.
Um,
Cool speed.
I still have to say, like, I don't want to look stupid any longer, so I will say this. This Baneling Nest was a mistake on my side from Ragnarok. Now he has it, and it's going to be very entertaining to see the Nidus Network go
Oh, yeah.
on and play with the Baneling Nest. But I imagine the same kind of attack out of Ragnarok without waiting for the Baneling Nest, and I imagine it being that much stronger.
Exactly. The Nidus Network is going down in the main base, and DRG is too distracted to react in time. Now he does, and he's gonna try and desperately cancel it. Is he gonna pull any drones? I don't think so, and it's too late. The Nidus one does finish. Baning pop on out as well as Queens on some really interesting connections there, but the Nidus one does unload, and now a gazillion lings in the main base of DRG. A disastrous position to be in. 46 workers are not really going to do that much good in this situation, but they do die pretty good, so I guess that's fine.
That
yeah,
is
the main
one
base.
Mega Mind play from Ragnarok,
Yeah.
pulling out the Banelings first out of the Nidus Network, just dealing so much damage, and now he has the Baneling advantage, he has the Zerglings advantage, and he has even 2 Queens there with a lot of energy at the ready. Banelings connecting on top of Queens even. He can do that, he can afford that. These 2 Banelings are not gonna go any far anytime soon, and now it's gonna come reinforcements even from the other side. Ragnarok just kind of being everywhere at the same time.
Yeah, a very, I mean, like, it looks like DRG may have been able to hold the ramp there, but then, you know, then what happens? Then you lose your entire base, and you're, like, miles behind. We see 4 crawlers coming out, and a spine crawler as well, just for fun there, I guess, but it's too much. GG is called, and RAGNAROK gets put on game point against Afrika Freaks DRG. Exciting stuff.
This is my phase after seeing 17 drones die to 2 banelings.
It looks exactly the same because you're a good stoic StarCraft player who doesn't have high emotions. Oh, I see.
Oh my.
Ah, I see. Just the hand on the beard, the contemplative scruff. I make the exact same face when I see Riddle Mines.
Absolutely rough.
Yeah, oh, you gotta feel it. I mean, he was so close to defending that, right? But you're right, the banelings coming out first was pretty strong. Brain the size of, like, his own brain, which is even bigger than his original brain. It was too much. I mean, I can't understand what I just said, but he can. That's how big his brain was.
Yeah, RAGNAROK was just so careful with his banelings, just detonating them at the right spot, right moment, right position. So careful about his resources spent. And with this kind of a lean, so aggressive, so behind in economy, you have to be careful with every single one of your units. And RAGNAROK is just that good at playing aggressively, and it was amazing.
Speaking of playing aggressively, spawning pool in the top left-hand side of Lightshade, made by the player spawning in the top left-hand side of Nightshade. Representing Afrika Freaks, he is up to no good. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Don Regu.
But can you trick the trickster? Here in the bottom right-hand corner is Alpha X Blue Zer player. Of course, I'm talking about the player in the leading position, 2-1 right now. Match point, it is RAGNAROK. Can he trick the trickster?
Can he trick the trickster? Indeed. RAGNAROK going for a hat first says, yikes. But it's not completely lost from here. And we see RAGNAROK is actually going to be saving up to get a spawning pool immediately afterwards. And I'm pretty sure that's the response you really want. Gas and then spawning pool here. But what do you think about RAGNAROK's odds of holding this so far? Is the spawning pool too late?
No, I feel like it's perfectly on time. This is just once more a pretty standard 12 pool expand out of the RG. So nothing crazy, just like we saw in the first game of the series. It's going to be exactly the same. The RG is also going to wait a little bit more time to just go around the overloads to not be scouted. But then again, the only good answer to this is just pulling a lot of drones, just trying not to lose too many. And you kind of transition into a kind of even position if you just lose a little bit of drones and nothing more.
Makes sense.
DRG, I don't feel like it's going to get much more.
Yeah, it's the same build as it was in the first game, and looks like RAGNAROK, I mean, of course you do have to pull the drones, you have to wait a little bit. He's gonna actually get a spine crawler, which may be a little bit too much of an investment here, but I guess he's not really sure about what's going on. He just now scouts the hatchery, I think. So he knows that it's just had that 12 foot expand like you were saying. Drones come on into the natural, not even fighting, just going straight to a mineral line. That's kind of cute.
Yeah.
And now the links are starting to pop as well, so RAGNAROK can start taking the fight. And DRG, can he get any drones? I feel like you need at least like 4 to make it worth it?
At least, yeah.
Yeah. And that was
that is very rough. Like he got only 2. He's in a very bad spot, to be honest. Like, even sending these last two Zerglings out just to their deaths, just to get 1 drone, it may sound like it is worth. In the end, it is actually not really. RAGNAROK is free to do whatever he wants right now. He just lose 3 drones. He's behind 1 drone.
Exactly.
And what does DRG get for this? A very late gas, a very late link speed. And RAGNAROK is this kind of player who goes like, oh, okay, you want to do this? Alright, I'm just going to make 40 Zerglings and kill you in the next few minutes.
Exactly. And like going back to what you got, it's not just the drone count, it's that those drones have been mining for longer, right? It's that they've been mining minerals while you are just in production. So that's also why, it's not really super worth it. But, with a nice little gas advantage, we get to see what RAGNAROK wants to do. It's his game to decide how he wants to take it. Not really much.
You know what? I would love to see ranged attack, actually, to be honest, instead of melee. That will be interesting.
Like a quick +1 roach timing, maybe?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, we'd love to see it, but still no Ro4 coming down here from Ragnarok. Maybe it's a little bit too early for him, but it looks like he might actually just want to expand here and just kind of play the long con. Huh.
Yeah, Carabas is another very interesting call. He's going to be the one who's gonna be ahead in upgrades for a lot of time.
Right.
So getting this upgrade, which is likely to stay an upgrade advantage throughout the game, being ready to face both Banelings and Roches alike, those lanes being able to survive one shot out of Banelings and being able to survive 2 volleys, actually 3 volleys out of Roches even with +2.
Right.
Sounds nice to me.
So it looks like we're probably going to be seeing a lot of linked aggression coming out here from Ragnarok to try and take advantage of that Carapace. He has 14 links in production, so I mean it's not a crazy amount, but it's definitely it's an amount you have to be prepared for. You have to prepare for this, right? And we see DRG doesn't really have a super scary army. He's making more lanes right now, which I think is the right call. So Ragnarok, he's gonna try and nibble away at his third base. Probably won't get it unless the reaction time on DRG is just super low, right? And I think he's just taking the.
I feel like he will get it. Oh, he's not going for it though.
Oh, he's just gonna.
He's going for the queens.
I like that. Yeah, I think just attacking the queens is the right choice because you can't. Yeah, if you pull the queen out, then you kind of mess up the wall up. And he's actually using his links to act in the wall up. Oh, did you see that, Akon? Did you see how smart Ragnarok was?
This player is so great at this matchup. He just plays at a whole other level compared to many of the other Zerg players. And now back home, he has a million Zerglings. +1 is about to be done for Carapace out of these links. And yeah, look at this. He's fighting even without it. He's just in a better position. He has defender's advantage. Now +1 Carapace kicks in. And this is absolutely a disaster for DRG. Like losing Zerglings in this scenario means that every single fight that will come from now on is going to be disastrous for DRG. Now he has the upgrade advantage. Now he wants to strike. There is no Roach in production for DRG, but even if there were Roaches in production, it would have been a disaster. No Baneliness, but even if there were a Baneliness, these Zerglings would have survived one Baneling shot. And look at this. This is a bloodbath. Zerglings out of Ragnarok are just not dying. GG gets gold, and we have our second finalist for Ultimate Showdown.